I came home from a work trip to find my kitchen completely gutted. My sister grinned. Surprise! We redid everything. Before we continue, make sure you subscribe, like, and share this story, because what happens next will leave you absolutely stunned. What are you doing? My sister Vanessa's smile faltered as I pressed the phone to my ear. Avery, put the phone down. Don't be dramatic. Dramatic? That's what they always called it when I refused to go along with their chaos. When I set boundaries. When I said no. 911. What's your emergency? I kept my eyes locked on my father as I spoke. I'd like to report a breaking and entering. Multiple people entered my home without permission while I was out of town and destroyed my property. Avery! My mother rushed forward trying to grab my phone. Hang up right now. I stepped back, holding the phone away from her reach. I'm still at the residence. The perpetrators are here now. Yes, I know who they are. They're my family. The operator's voice was calm, professional. Are you in immediate danger, ma'am? No, but they're refusing to leave and demanding I pay them $47,000 for renovations I never authorized. My father's face turned purple. You can't call the police on your own family. Watch me, I said quietly. The operator continued. Officers are being dispatched to your location. Can you stay on the line? Yes. I walked through what used to be my kitchen, phone pressed to my ear, surveying the damage. My vintage 1950s mint green stove, the one I'd spent 2 years hunting for at estate sales, was gone. Replaced with a modern stainless steel monstrosity. My butcher block countertops, which I'd sanded and oiled myself, had been ripped out. In their place were cold white quartz counters I'd never have chosen. The custom cabinets I'd commissioned from a local woodworker, maple with glass fronts, each one fitted perfectly to my small bungalow's quirky measurements, were demolished. Instead, there were generic white shaker cabinets that belonged in a suburban McMansion, not my 1940s craftsman home in Portland. How could you do this? My voice shook as I turned to face them. This was my house, my kitchen. I've been restoring it for 6 years. And it looked like a museum, Vanessa cut in. Nobody lives like that anymore. We were helping you. Helping me? By destroying everything I've worked for? By modernizing it, my mother said, gesturing around like she'd done me a favor. That old stove was dangerous. Those cabinets were dated. We brought your house into the 21st century. I didn't ask you to. You were gone for 2 weeks, my father said, pulling out the invoice again like this was a reasonable transaction. We have a key for emergencies. We saw an opportunity to help. The contractor had a cancellation, so we moved fast. You should be grateful. Grateful. They broke into my house, destroyed my carefully curated restoration, and I should be grateful. How did you even get in? I changed the locks last year. My mother had the decency to look slightly embarrassed. Vanessa found your spare key, the one under the turtle statue in the garden. So you searched my property to find a way to break in. It's not breaking in when it's family, my father started. It's exactly breaking in. And the police will be here in... I checked my watch. Approximately 4 minutes to explain that to you. Vanessa stepped forward, her expression shifting from annoyed to worried. Avery, come on, don't do this. We spent a lot of money making your house beautiful. The least you could do is split the cost. Split the cost of a renovation I never wanted, never authorized, and actively would have prevented if I'd known about it? It's an investment in your property value. It's vandalism. The contractor is Vanessa's boyfriend, my mother added, as if this made everything better. Miguel gave us a family discount. $47,000 is a steal for a full kitchen renovation. Vanessa's boyfriend. Suddenly everything made sense. This wasn't about helping me. This was about funneling money to Miguel's contracting business, using my house as the vehicle. Let me guess, I said. You told Miguel I'd authorize this work? The silence was damning. Oh my God, you committed fraud. You forged my approval. We didn't forge anything, my father said quickly. We just told him you'd agreed verbally and were out of town. Which is a lie, which is fraud. It's a misunderstanding, my mother insisted. You're making this into something it's not. The doorbell rang. Through the window, I could see the distinctive blue and red lights of a Portland Police Bureau patrol car. Actually, I said, walking to the door, I'm making it into exactly what it is, a crime. Officers Nguyen and Patterson stood on my porch, notepads out, professional and alert. I invited them in, and they surveyed the destroyed kitchen with careful eyes. So let me make sure I understand, Officer Nguyen said after I explained the situation. You were out of town for 2 weeks on a business trip. You did not authorize any renovation work. And you came home to find your family had entered your home without permission and completely gutted your kitchen. That's correct. We had a key, my father interrupted. She gave it to us for emergencies. Did she give you permission to renovate her kitchen? Officer Patterson asked. We're family. We don't need permission. Actually, you do, Officer Nguyen said. This is her property. Even if you have a key, you can't make unauthorized modifications to someone else's home. This is ridiculous, Vanessa said. We were helping her. Did you pay for these renovations? Officer Patterson asked. Vanessa hesitated. Miguel, my boyfriend, did the work. My parents helped with some of the costs. And now they're demanding I reimburse them $47,000, I added. Officer Nguyen made a note. Do you have documentation of Ms. Harrington authorizing this work? It was verbal, my father started. Did you have a verbal conversation with Ms. Harrington where she explicitly authorized these renovations? Silence. We thought she'd appreciate it, my mother said weakly. That's not authorization, Officer Patterson said. Ms. Harrington, do you want to press charges? I looked at my family. My mother, who'd always steamrolled over my boundaries. My father, who'd always backed her up. My sister, who'd never been able to take no for an answer. Yes, I said. I want to press charges for breaking and entering, destruction of property, and fraud. Avery, please, my mother begged. You need to leave, Officer Nguyen said to my family. Now. And you should consult with an attorney because you're likely going to be hearing from Ms. Harrington's lawyer as well. This is insane, Vanessa shouted. We're her family. And she's the homeowner whose property you damaged, Officer Patterson said firmly. You need to leave, now. I watched my family file out, my mother crying, my father furious, Vanessa shooting me looks that could kill. When the door closed behind them, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Relief. Officer Nguyen handed me a case number. You'll need to document everything. Take photos of all the changes. Try to get receipts or invoices showing the original materials you had. The more evidence of what was destroyed, the better your case. What about getting my kitchen back? That's a civil matter. You'll need to sue for damages. But the criminal charges will help your civil case significantly. After the officers left, I stood in my ruined kitchen and cried. Not gentle tears. Ugly, heaving sobs that came from 6 years of work destroyed in 2 weeks. I'd bought this house when I was 26, right after my grandmother died and left me a small inheritance. It was a disaster. Previous owners had modernized it in the 1980s, with laminate and linoleum and dropped ceilings that hid all the original character. I'd spent 6 years carefully restoring it, pulling down the dropped ceilings to reveal the original tongue and groove, stripping the laminate to find the hardwood underneath, hunting for period-appropriate fixtures at architectural salvage yards. The kitchen had been my masterpiece. The mint green O'Keefe and Merritt stove from 1952, fully restored and functioning. The butcher block counters I'd made from reclaimed maple. The cabinets with wavy glass fronts that caught the morning light. All of it gone. Replaced with generic, soulless materials that could be in any house in any suburb in America. I called my best friend Priya, who answered on the first ring. How was the conference? She asked cheerfully. I need a lawyer. My family broke into my house and destroyed my kitchen. There was a pause. What? I explained everything while taking photos of the damage. Priya listened in stunned silence. They're insane, she said finally. I'm texting you my cousin Malik's number. He's a real estate attorney. He handles property disputes. Thank you. Avery, I'm so sorry. I know how much that house meant to you. Means. Present tense. It's still my house. And I'm going to make this right. Malik Khan met me the next morning at a coffee shop near my house. He was in his early 40s, sharp-eyed and direct. I showed him the photos, the invoice from Miguel's contracting company, and the police report. He whistled low. This is bad. For them, I mean. Good for your case. Can I make them pay to restore everything? Possibly. Oregon has specific laws about property damage. Since they entered without authorization and made substantial modifications, you can sue for the full cost of restoration, not just the removal of their work, but the cost of putting everything back to how it was. Even if that costs more than their $47,000? Especially if it costs more. They don't get to profit from their illegal act by doing a cheaper renovation than what you had. You're entitled to be made whole, which means restoring your house to its previous condition. Hope flickered in my chest. How much are we talking? Let me ask you this. How much would it cost to source all those original materials again? The vintage stove, the custom cabinets, the butcher block counters? I'd been thinking about this all night. Conservatively, $70,000, maybe more. The stove alone was $8,000 after restoration. The custom cabinets were $15,000. The butcher block was about $6,000. Then there's demo of their work, disposal, reinstallation. Malik made notes. Good. Document everything. Find receipts if you have them. Get quotes from contractors for removal and restoration. The more detailed, the better. What about criminal charges? That's separate but helps us. If they're convicted, it establishes wrongdoing, which makes our civil case much stronger. We can also potentially get punitive damages since their conduct was so egregious. Punitive damages? Extra money to punish them and deter others from similar conduct. Given that they broke in, destroyed property, committed fraud with the contractor, and then tried to make you pay for it, a judge might be very interested in making an example of this case. For the first time since walking into my ruined kitchen, I smiled. The story spread through my family like wildfire. By that evening, I had 37 text messages from various relatives. How could you call the police on your own parents? Vanessa is devastated. Family doesn't sue family. Your father is having chest pains from the stress. This is all over a kitchen. Grow up. I responded to exactly one message from my Aunt Claire, who'd always been reasonable. They broke into my house, destroyed 6 years of restoration work, and tried to make me pay $47,000 for the privilege. This isn't about a kitchen. It's about basic respect and boundaries. She wrote back immediately. I didn't know they'd broken in. That changes things. I'm sorry. The rest, I deleted without reading. Miguel's contracting company called the next day. Ms. Harrington, this is Miguel Cordova. I think there's been a misunderstanding. About what? The renovation work. Your family said you'd authorized it. They lied. Oh. He sounded genuinely surprised. They showed me photos of your kitchen. Said you'd asked them to hire someone while you were out of town. Your sister showed me text messages. Fake ones, I'm guessing. Silence. Then, I need to talk to my lawyer. You should. Because I'm suing my family for the full cost of restoration, and depending on what your involvement was, you might be included in that suit. I didn't know. I swear, I thought it was legitimate. Then you won't mind providing documentation of everything they told you. Emails, texts, the initial conversation, all of it. Yes, of course. Ms. Harrington, I'm sorry. I never would have done this if I'd known. You did it anyway. And now my 1952 stove is in a landfill somewhere because you didn't verify authorization before gutting someone's house. I hung up before he could respond. Malik called that afternoon. Miguel's lawyer contacted me. He's willing to testify that your family misrepresented the situation. He'll provide all documentation of their communications with him. He's also offering to refund whatever money your family paid him. In exchange for? Not being included in the lawsuit. How much did they actually pay him? According to his records, $12,000. They were supposed to pay the balance, $35,000, upon completion, which means they were planning to stick you with most of the bill. I felt sick. They'd invested $12,000 in destroying my house, then expected me to pay $35,000 more for the privilege. Tell him we'll consider dropping him from the suit in exchange for his testimony and full documentation, but I want that in writing. Done. The criminal case moved faster than I expected. With Miguel's testimony that my family had misrepresented my authorization, the district attorney's office charged all three of them with criminal trespass and criminal mischief, both misdemeanors, but still criminal charges. They hired a lawyer who immediately tried to negotiate. Your clients entered Ms. Harrington's home without permission and caused $47,000 in damage, the DA said in a meeting I attended. The best I can offer is diversion. They complete community service, pay restitution, and the charges are dismissed after 1 year. Restitution for what amount? Their lawyer asked. The full cost of restoration. We're still calculating final numbers, but likely around $70,000 to $80,000. My father, sitting across the conference table, went pale. That's insane. We only spent $12,000. You spent $12,000 destroying property worth far more than that, the DA said. Ms. Harrington is entitled to restore her home to its previous condition. That's what restitution means. We can't afford that, my mother whispered. Then you shouldn't have broken into her house, the DA said flatly. They took the deal. 1 year of diversion, monthly community service, and full restitution to be paid over 5 years. If they completed everything, the charges would be dismissed. If they didn't, they'd be convicted and sentenced. The civil case was filed 2 weeks later. Malik had compiled everything. Receipts for my original materials, quotes for restoration work, documentation of Miguel's involvement, photos of the before and after, the police report, and the criminal diversion agreement. We sued for $73,000 in restoration costs, $15,000 in emotional distress, $25,000 in punitive damages, legal fees. Total, $113,000 plus attorney costs. My family's lawyer tried to argue that we should only get the cost of removing their renovation, maybe $5,000, that I was unjustly enriched by having a modern kitchen. The judge shut that down in the first hearing. Counsel, your clients entered Ms. Harrington's home illegally and destroyed property she'd spent years carefully restoring. The fact that they think their taste is better than hers is irrelevant. She's entitled to restoration, not their idea of an improvement. But, Your Honor, $73,000 is what it costs to undo your client's illegal actions. If they'd asked permission and she'd said no, they'd have saved themselves a lot of money. Motion denied. The trial was set for 4 months out, but we never got there. 2 weeks before trial, their lawyer called with a settlement offer, $90,000 paid over 7 years, structured payment plan with penalties for missed payments. It's less than you asked for, Malik said, but it's guaranteed money. If we go to trial, we might get the full amount, but collecting it could be difficult. I thought about it for exactly 10 seconds. Accept it. The first payment arrived 30 days later, $71.43, direct deposited into my account. It would come every month for the next 84 months. I'd be 40 years old when it was finally paid off. I hired a specialist restoration contractor, a woman named Helen who understood period homes. This is criminal, she said when she saw my gutted kitchen. But we can fix it, it'll take time. How much time? 4 months, maybe 5. Finding period-appropriate materials isn't fast, but I know people. We'll make it beautiful again. She was right. When it was done, it was even better than before. I haven't spoken to my family in 2 years. The monthly payments come automatically, deducted from my father's retirement account per the court order. Sometimes they're late, which triggers the penalty fee. I don't feel bad about that. My mother sends cards on holidays. I don't open them. Vanessa got married to Miguel somehow. I wasn't invited. I heard through mutual friends that they're struggling financially. Apparently, the restitution payments have put a strain on the whole family. I don't feel bad about that either. Because here's what I learned. Family doesn't give you the right to destroy someone's boundaries. Blood relation doesn't excuse illegal behavior. And sometimes, the people who claim to love you the most are the ones who respect you the least. My house is mine again. Every cabinet, every counter, every carefully chosen fixture reflects my choices, my taste, my years of work. And nobody gets to take that from me ever again. Not even family. Especially not family. I came home to a gutted kitchen and a $47,000 invoice. I left them with a criminal record and a $90,000 debt. And I'd do it again in a heartbeat. Because some boundaries are worth defending, no matter the cost.